You are watching Access LaPorte County, Channel 97. Coming up next is the May 22nd meeting of the Michigan City Historic Preservation Commission. You can find more information for this meeting at www.accesslaportecounty.org.
We'll have a roll call.
For the roll call, Joyce Dalton,
Present.
Dan Granquist,
Here.
Dwayne Hurt, Lauren Zimmer, Roger, how do I say your last name?
Potretz.
Potretz.
Just remember long O.
Potretz. Amy Bowman,
Here.
Gigi McCub, Emile.
Here.
Mealy?
Mealy.
Mealy, okay. Not French, we do this every time. Jonas Zimmerman.
No.
Oh. Greg Coulter, Deb Parcell,
Here.
I want to ask you.
and Kyle.
Here.
Yeah, I know Larry is out of town, so he said he wouldn't be here. He's the only one that. Okay, can we have a approval of the agenda for tonight?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda for tonight.
Do we have a second?
A second.
Thank you. All right, all in favor? Aye.
Right.
Opposed, same. All right, has everyone had a chance to look over the minutes from the last meeting? Any corrections or additions that need to be made to it? If not, can we have a motion to approve?
I move to approve.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Thank you. Okay. Any
Really loud
course?
about our eyes.
You what?
We were very loud with those eyes that time.
I know. I think I only heard Amy. Any correspondence?
No.
Could you just write me a letter or something?
No.
You don't want to commit to. You don't want to commit to anything more than he has to. I get it. Okay, we have the maintenance review.
Okay. Okay, so our first one is COA 2023-027 at 627 Pine Street. So this was painting, so it was more or less they were using the same colors as what was currently there, so it was just almost like a repainting of what was there. So they painted trim, porch, and then siding. So they used a white color, and then Roycroft copper, which is a red color. So more or less just repainting what is already there. So yeah, that was pretty simple. I think staff approval for that one. Then our next one is COA 2023-028 at 416 East 9th Street. This was a roof replacement. So used pretty much the same color, cornerstone color, and then with I think the replacement / repair of the soffits as well as gutters.
Yeah, that one's already, we're still on 28, right?
Yeah, I'm almost on. I'm on to now 29.
Nice.
So the next
Isn't that
one
nice?
is going to be COA 2023-028, 701 Washington Street. This was also a roof replacement. They replaced it with so they replaced the existing asphalt roof with GAF Timberline Lifetime in bark wood brown, which is pretty much the exact same color as present. And then the next one is COA 2023-0 633 at 312 East 7th Street. This was also a roof replacement. So this was, just replacing the existing flat roof. This is something not visible from the public right-of-way, so as well as with it being a flat roof, it's not something typically that we have much, I guess, not necessarily decision, but it's something that's usually pretty clear cut. So the next one is going to be at COA 2023-037 at 11-6 West 10th Street. This was fence, brick patio, and the removal of a parking space. So they looked to replace the existing fence with a new one. With this being in the backyard, this isn't something that's viewed from the public right away. The brick patio is in the back, as well as the removal of the parking space off of the alley. Then the next one is COA 2023-038 at 514 East 8th Street. This was a roof replacement, and they replaced it with black, which
I think we got all of these.
You got it.
I think is similar to the existing
There's a bunch
roof.
of them.
And they proposed, the reason for it was the roof, I guess, was leaking. So it was something that needed to be done. And that is all of them.
Just repairs, basically.
Yeah.
Okay, so. Any questions to Kyle about any of that?
Looks very straightforward.
Okay, we'll go into the C of A's.
Okay, 2023-030 is for 306 York Street. Originally, they requested a horizontal fence. I called the owner and talked to her, and she was unaware of our guidelines. And I led her to the guidelines online, and she's like, oh my goodness. I had no idea. So vertical is what we recommend normally, and I showed her the ones that are listed in the guidelines as being pre-approved styles. She picked one of those, so it'll be able to be staff approved. So actually, they're not in front of us tonight, but that was just a case of letting them know the guidelines were out there, and it completely changed the project, so.
But did she know about the commission that she had to get? She didn't know anything?
She knew she needed a COA.
Okay.
She knew that,
Yeah,
so
when
she
she
applied.
when she came to City Hall.
Yeah, so we have the COA application. It was just that it was for horizontal, and I wasn't sure. Sometimes people write horizontal when they mean vertical, you know, I just wanted to
Right.
clarify that.
Or up or down.
Yeah, so she was just like, oh, well, it was just an aesthetic thing. I definitely want to go by the guidelines, so.
This isn't the one that involves parking, is it?
No.
No.
No,
No, this is on York Street.
Okay.
And so she was just really good about it. Turned out her mother was on the BZA for some town, and she grew up hearing about people who always wanted something they
That's
shouldn't.
interesting.
She's like, I do not want to be that person. So it was really good. I enjoyed talking to her. So we don't have anything to decide there. Now we're on to the parking lot. So we've got, this one is 2023-034. It's for a property at 1008 Cedar Street, which is a vacant lot, and I'm told it's unbuildable. They would like to construct a 22-foot by 45-foot parking pad in either concrete or asphalt to provide parking for a 4-unit rental property at 1010 Cedar Street. They want to plant 5 emerald arborvitaes at the front of the parking area. all parking for the apartment building was eliminated by double track construction and no street parking is available. So the finding of fact, the existing lot is vacant and unbuildable. Permeable paving material is encouraged.
Do we know the size of that,
I
Did you
don't
have
have the dimensions of the lot itself, do
No,
you?
not off the top of my head,
Well, doesn't it?
but I think it was like a 40 by something.
45
Yeah, it's right here.
by 20.
because they wouldn't need to use the entire thing. For parking, you need 8 feet minimum for a car. It'd be nice to probably have a little more space, but,
You could,
Just-
you can get 2 cars parked this way on there.
oh, I thought they were going to be pulling in this way.
45
Here's
feet.
the alley, and here's 10th Street. Can you see?
Oh, so they're coming in from the alley?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
45, so that'd be about 4. Can you get 5 cars in there? Most like 4, I think.
Depending on how big the car is.
How could they be parking tandem then? Is that right?
No, no, they could park long. They could park this way,
Oh, that's what I was thinking initially, but how would they get in?
right here.
Oh, from there, okay. Well, so then my question would be then, if they only needed about 8 feet for each of the cars to go in that direction, could the planting area be greater? I've just drawn a new
I
pen,
would-
but it's pencil, so we can.
No, I would say no, because what if somebody living in the apartment has 2 cars? And if you took away from this, you still can't use the rest of it anyway.
Well, even 40 feet with 8-foot wide spaces would allow for 5 cars. My point simply is, the more planting area, the more we can push it back from the street, the better, because it's not an attractive thing to have the cars parked there.
It's hard to look at it now, but it's not pretty as a vacant lot.
The area up here at the top of it, okay, they're coming in from here.
How many
So they're leaving a 5
spaces
foot.
are required, like 1.5 per unit?
It's like, it's really 2, but like with a parking reduction, it could be taken down to 1.
Could be taken down to 1. Okay.
It's not buildable, let them put as much parking as they can fit there.
And I think what they're trying to do here, because this is a sidewalk, they're just trying to make it look a little nicer. That's my thought.
Yeah, and I'm suggesting they make it look a little nicer than that. Because we don't have enough information to know for sure how many cars they're intending to put there.
Correct.
And if they were going to, and what size they would like that, or what width they would like to use for the parking spaces. At 45 feet, they could have 5 spaces that are 9 feet wide, which would be very nice and very generous. And if there's a strong, compelling reason to do that, maybe we can. It would, and they've got 5 feet at the back also for another little planting area. And it just, if this is the front of the property and the street that people would be on, wouldn't it be in everyone's interest to have a greater setback to allow for more?
They're already setting back 5 foot.
Well, isn't Cedar Street down here?
Yeah,
Yeah, the alley.
But Cedar Street is not but Cedar Street is down here.
But there's an alley by this building, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, but so I'm suggesting the setback would be here. Where the arborvitae is,
Yeah, I know what you're
to
saying.
have it deeper so that there could be more plants besides arborvitae, which which are very touchy plants and are not always successful. It's just a greater setback is desirable rather than to have cars so close to the front of the street. Or is this totally a side street?
This is 10th Street. You're looking at something different now.
I'm trying to look at this plan of it.
Oh, this is 10th Street in front of it.
This out here.
Yeah, right, I see it.
I mean, this might be.
We're looking at it, right? And then it's sidewalk, and then it's plants, and then it's parking lot. The alley runs along this side, and there's a fence back here.
But Cedar is a street now, and it's a side street. 10th is more of a main street, and then Cedar is over here, and just
Yeah.
a little more of a setback. Well, it seems like a desirable thing to me, but I don't know if anybody else cares at all. Or it would be nice if the property owner was here that could answer some questions.
I thought he would be. I thought he would be, actually.
Because it is unbuildable. I mean, it's 25 feet wide, so it's not like they're gonna put anything there.
Right, right.
His reason is that he's losing it because of the double tracking.
Yes.
Yes,
If you
because
notice
at
it, it's
Yeah.
almost
At the,
right in
yeah, I mean,
front
at
of
the
us.
end of kind of what you see, it kind of goes in like a bowl shape.
Yeah,
And it was supposed to, originally, it was supposed to be straight on that side so you could put 3 cars. But for whatever reason, they ended up just
so Cedar's
rounding.
not a crossing. Okay.
Correct. So he removed,
Okay.
so he lost the parking that he was supposed to have been given.
So his building is actually the one.
The white,
The white
the
one.
bigger, yeah. The big,
I think you're right.
Yeah.
This is the best way to see it. I mean, this is the apartment building, alley, lot. And so
Yeah, right
shrubs
here.
would go right here.
yeah, over here.
So, I mean, I think it's a really reasonable thing he's asking for, you're right. Might
Yeah.
as well just make it all parking lot and.
Yeah. I mean,
He doesn't have to do any of
Park in
that.
the street, they
Yeah.
took those other parking lot stuff.
Yeah.
And it's for 4 units, so sometimes they might have trucks, they need space to get in, get out, and not bang up.
It'll look better than it is now. It's just historic, or Western Grove, I think it says. If that's still there.
If they, so you're suggesting different plants or plants plus a fence or
She's
Twice as
saying
many plants.
scoot it back more.
That was what I was saying, to make it more planting area.
Do they want to make it more planting area?
Oh, probably not, because they might have to maintain it then.
That's
Yeah.
exactly, because right now they're cutting the grass.
Yeah. And then they're aware that this is not attractive, and that's why they're thinking of arborvitae. I'm
Yeah, I
sure.
think you're right.
Well, does it have to be a hard pavement? They're not gonna let them park on the grass, are they?
No,
No.
they said they're
No,
either
it's
gonna
gonna
do concrete or asphalt.
Asphalt.
The guidelines suggest consideration of permeable
Oh, good.
surfacing, so that's what I would recommend, that they at least consider that. That's what the guidelines,
There's at least a permeable asphalt, yeah.
yeah. So I think that would be fair, but they can't build on it, and you're right, there easily could be 2 vehicles for one of those units, you don't know, or
Right.
I just think 5 for a 4-unit building is not
That's pretty tight.
overdone. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
tight.
Yeah, see, this is the building and this is the parking lot.
Yeah.
Just the alley.
What's our option for
Play with your papers.
recommendation per meeting? Just say, please.
Please, yes.
She did
I
suggest
think
it,
that
yeah.
should be the, it should be strongly suggested. I don't think we can quite require it. I don't know. I don't know what the
Well,
city's
can
rules
we
are either.
Require an analysis or cost comparison, and a reason why not.
It says it here too. On the C of A, it's suggesting, is encouraging it to have that parking.
What kind of drainage, if they put this all under concrete, what is gonna happen with drainage?
They can slope it to the alley.
Yeah. that's
I mean, they would have, I mean, because
Look
the
like a
property
utility
next
box.
door,
This looks like a
the
marker,
topography
some sort of
slopes.
This
utility.
might be the
Okay.
utility
It
box.
slopes towards kind of that back
He doesn't
corner.
even show this.
Would be really
Yeah.
good.
It's It's nice, that's good for a private, single-family home to maintain, but
Right.
a parking lot for a rental is
Yeah,
harder to maintain.
it is, so, and there's nothing in our guidelines prohibiting
Yeah.
concrete or asphalt,
Right.
either one. It's just encouraging permeable, so you can take that whichever way you want to run with it.
Yeah.
But
Does anybody have any other questions?
I'll make a motion to accept it as proposed.
Do I have a second?
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Okay, thank you.
Okay. So the next one, right on,
Michigan.
2023-35 is the 921 East Michigan Boulevard. That poor burned out house that I drive by every time I go into town.
It does look pretty bad.
Bless them, this is a project. So it was rated contributing before it caught fire. A gabled L and then built around 1895. So they've got their work cut out for them, but this is the first part of the project that they're asking for this time, which is to replace all windows with Anderson A-Series fiberglass clad wood windows. That's off the pre-approved list that we've got. To remove the aluminum siding and replace the damaged boards with new wood. And then paint the body of the house. That's where we get our little pictures. With this color, Bungalow House Blue, trim white hyacinth, and the front door with pink flamingo. And then install seamless white 5-inch gutters and downspouts. So, to the next page here. So the finding of fact, fire has significantly damaged the siding, soffit, fascia, and numerous windows, predominantly second floor, but there's some first floor also. The existing windows are not original. The proposed Anderson A-Series windows have been pre-approved by the commission. Wood siding below the aluminum should be repaired and retained. Selected paint colors are interior colors, not exterior colors. So they are not from the pre-approved color palette, they are historic colors.
They're approved from the palette, but for the
This is for
inside, not for
the
the
inside of the house, not the exterior. So you guys have pre-approved the historic color palette exterior colors. So there's very different interior colors, so these are not
different in quality of
color,
chemicals,
color.
color.
very different
So there's
colors.
nothing comparable in the,
Not this one, nowhere close.
And you haven't talked with them, I take it.
Not on the paint. No.
Well, first
I
of
also
all,
talked
would
to
you want your front door to be that color?
Well, not me, but this thing.
the blue, I'll have to look. The white, yes, we've got white is not a big deal. I can look and see the blue. They're just, the interior colors are more vibrant, certainly, more intense, and not real compatible with what historic buildings would have been painted in the past.
But the existing color of the building looks like it could have been that.
It
And
looks,
would that be an argument for them to paint it that color if they chose?
could be. I mean, yeah. Obviously, it was painted something that was not on the historic exterior
Yeah.
color palette, so.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It's paint, gets repainted periodically, so to me, that's not a huge hill to die on, but just saying, this is not pre-approved. And K-style gutters match the existing gutters on the porch, and that's the only place I saw gutters was on the porch, so.
Look at it, looks like it's green here and blue here.
Yeah, the colors do seem to
I
vary.
think the heat did strange things too, because there's places where it's white, and that's just the heat alone
I think
to
it just
color
came
white.
Yeah,
So,
see,
I'm not 100% sure, I think it was blue to begin with.
probably not.
Staff recommends approval of all items as submitted with the condition that the windows match the existing windows in size and style, and that the shape siding in the gables, you can see that it's a fishtail design, that shape be retained and repaired or replaced to match the original.
So you were suggesting to allow them to do that color?
No,
Oh, all right.
That would be quite a departure for the door, but, the blue, for instance, there's a historic color.
That's the only
It's
blue.
close. This is more gray. There's like a baby blue, but that's not even in the neighborhood.
No.
Greens, grays, there's not a lot of blue in the historic color palette, to be honest. There's kind of it's much more green. The intensity's about the same, but it's far more green.
Maybe you approve it subject to re-selecting a color from the exterior
colors. Yeah,
options.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
does that sound very good?
And then that could be staff approval if they pick something from the exterior.
Yeah.
All right, would you like to make that motion?
Yes, so make it. Whatever I said.
Did you get that, Greg?
Approve staff, move to approve staff
Exterior.
recommendation, subject to re-selecting paint color from the exterior palette. Approved.
And if Kyle doesn't approve the right color, he's in trouble. You see how scared he is? Trouble, Kyle. Okay, do I have a second?
I second.
Okay.
The Dwayne?
Yeah. Oh, Dwayne already did?
Oh, okay.
All right,
Fast, Dwayne.
all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Okay. Okay.
So finally, we are at COA 2023-036. This is 621 Pine Street, a colonial revival rate of contributing, built in 1908. So this proposed project is to paint the front door. This is not from any historic color palette, interior or exterior. They want to paint the front door with color. Navel is the color. Paint the brick patio floor the shade of red. This is again an interior historic color palette. Excuse me. Paint the cast concrete block walls the shade of gray. And the cap on top of the wall, this color. So all but the blue are from the historic interior color palette. So in this particular case, the walls do not appear to be stable. If you look at the pictures, they are just in many, many places,
Yeah.
not just one or two. It's bad all the way around.
You mean the concrete block walls?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
they're
Okay.
just terrible.
I talked to her actually Saturday at the farmer's market. She approached me and asked me, she showed me some pictures. Yeah, it's crumbling and
It
it's
is.
terrible. I was like, oh, that's you own that property? Yes,
so
get that
fast.
fixed.
They
Yeah.
just bought it not
Doesn't
too long ago.
Yeah, cool.
You did
It really
approve,
is.
in 2021, you did approve rebuilding the block walls, and then it never happened. So that part has been done already. But that is still recommended. The recommended approach is rebuilding of the porch. If the porch can be repaired, then repointing should match the existing mortar mix, color, texture, size, and style of joints. New porch materials, if new materials are used, if it's rebuilt, and new materials, those should not be painted. And the paint colors are not from the Sherwin-Williams Historic Exterior Color Palette. So recommended motions would be to approve the rebuilding of the existing porch with materials to match the existing, with the condition that the new materials not be painted.
I'm not clear on what you mean, that to reconstruct the porch wall with materials. Are you just talking about that lower feet part?
Right, yeah, they're not talking about any upper portion of the porch. They're only talking about the walls and the floor of the porch.
And it's been
Like
braced for like 3 years or more.
Well, so then this part would remain?
It would have to be rebuilt, yes. I mean, that's what they're wanting,
That's
is
what
to
they're
have
wanting
that.
to do.
So if it's going to be rebuilt, can we recommend that it be a railing like this other part of?
Well, I would never recommend what's there now on that one side, that's
If you
a
can
mess.
see on each side, it's
But at least a railing
yes.
rather than this kind of
Yeah.
overly massive.
I don't
This
even
is
know
what's
what's
there.
going on, there's some
That's
wood
what's there.
behind the railing, it appears, I mean,
awful. Well, and the people
we
that,
don't want wood behind the railing, that would not make sense.
well, there isn't, it's,
Well, it is on this side.
right, because it was falling down.
Yeah,
But these
so,
people now are not the same people that came before us in
no,
2010.
these are different.
So now they're finally, hopefully this,
Yeah, they're definitely
Good.
ready to.
but yeah, it looks terrible.
Do they talk with you at all when they come into the office?
I mean, sometimes they come in, but most of the time it's over the phone.
Oh,
Just because some of them are business owners and stuff that they, by the time, by the time they're done with their day, City Hall is closed. So most of the time it's,
because if they care about this much about the house, and there seems to be a lot of work, that block is just so out of keeping with the rest of the house. It might be an appropriate support under the porch surface, but to be there as a wall is so inappropriate, and
It is.
we would somehow have to, especially if it needs some work anyway, it needs to come down, it should be replaced with something that's in keeping with the house.
Is there a
Which is
sense
more of a-
that painting is just a temporary look better until they get it repaired?
But this has been this color for a long time.
yeah.
Whoever owned it before did nothing,
Yeah,
just let it fall apart.
but if they're coming in to do something, maybe they just want to paint it temporarily so it looks a little bit better before they get the repairs.
I'm not sure what the reasoning is for the paint
I think the
request,
paint
you
is
know?
just so you don't see this color.
Could we ask for some clarification on it? Because they're only asking about the paint, are they implying that they are going to reconstruct this part that's?
I thought they were requesting to rebuild it as, right? I mean,
Right,
At least,
yeah, they have to fix it.
well, they need to do more.
Well, obviously, yeah, they need to rebuild it.
because that's point number 4 on their
Right.
application is tuck point and repair front and side retaining wall and brick walls, and all brick walls on the.
Tuck point doesn't sound like replacing.
No, they didn't ask.
No, they didn't ask for that, that's what we're saying, you need to do that. If you
Yes,
want
they
it to
didn't
look
ask
like
for it,
this,
yeah.
you need to rebuild.
Well, so
You
the
can't
part
just-
up above, now maybe it's kind of thick, a brick wall like that's not supported with something kind of turning in the other direction, it's kind of unstable. And I would wonder if they don't have to review whether that can possibly remain. It's the kind of thing you wouldn't want to lean against.
For sure.
Isn't that more for building departments, building code?
I mean, it's gonna have
But
to,
that's been.
I mean, they're gonna have to get a
That's a
permit.
building department thing. And the building department's already said it needs to be replaced. Yeah.
And so basically what they're asking is to make it safe and not, and if this has been allowed for how long? That would have to be the building department that would go over and say, you can't have this anymore. So then, are we gonna discourage people from doing anything to their outside?
Well, I don't think the building department would tell them they couldn't have it. They'd probably just follow up with a safe way to make that happen.
But now you're looking at something different. You're
Yes.
talking about the front and now you're
Yeah.
talking about the side. From the side, they have to fix.
Yeah.
That's a safety hazard.
Well, in the front is a whole lot better if you
No.
look in spots,
Right.
like under that wood and this corner, it's just like, oh my soul.
It's not,
falling apart.
right. It
Well,
is-
once they get the project going, they might, obviously go down a rabbit hole of funding.
Yeah.
They have a lot more to do than what they think they have to
Even
do.
if you
They think it just
send
needs
us
tuck
that,
pointing, and they
you can
think it just
put
needs a
the white
repair, but
stone.
once somebody gets in there, they might be like, you need to tear this whole thing down and start over.
I'm thinking
Yeah,
it
that's
is.
where I think it's headed.
Yeah.
Thursday.
Well, I know,
And
I know.
I think she's just got lofty
But it's just
hopes that they're
got
gonna fix it, and then she's gonna paint it, and it's just gonna be great.
Sounds wonderful.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
think it's gonna happen.
Yeah, I don't either.
Blue
I don't think the
and
mason will do it, and I don't think the building department will allow
Is
it.
it isn't just
The
So-
painting is there.
We're in a second.
Yeah,
So let's just say we approve what Deb's gonna recommend.
Excuse me, which color is it?
it's blue.
It's
It's
the
a-
bluish color.
Oh, it's the bluish color?
Yeah, it's
Oh, it's
ugly.
over yet.
Oh,
It's ugly. You didn't get a chance to
I
drive
have
by.
to admire
No.
the fact that they spray painted it, because this is where a round planter is set, so there's round circles on the top.
Yeah. So let's just say we approve everything here. And then this lady goes in to start doing this. Who's gonna tell her about this brick stuff that's not in good shape?
Well, when she submits her building permit, Sue Downs,
So she needs the building permit for the side.
yeah, I mean, she's
All
gonna
of
need it for all
Right.
of it, all of it.
Okay, so.
it may be all right.
No.
We're just
No,
surmising that it's
I
not.
agree. I just wanna make sure if we say this is okay, that they can't come back and say, well, you said it's okay, how come Sue? And like I told Sue, I'd rather she get the blame than. No, Sue would let her know.
Yeah, no, she is.
Yeah.
And what is the color again that they want to paint it?
Interior colors that they can't.
They
So
want
she wants to do like a
the
navy.
porch floor
Yeah,
this,
that's
okay, and then the walls this,
where it's black currently.
right,
Right.
and then the cap on the wall, which is still the very
The
dark
brick
color.
Very
actually
light
looks in
compared
pretty
to
good
the
shape.
brick, which is
Almost.
Wanting to make it look more like stone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
that
the
makes
idea,
sense.
and
Yeah.
a separate, total separate issue is painting
front
the front door
Look at
this
that.
color.
Yeah.
The downspout.
So they apparently would want to make the floor up here similar to
Down here.
this down here. So there may be a color that's a little, that's an exterior color that's.
There
going
could
out.
very well be.
And we're okay with that?
Because there's a lot of reds in here that probably are pretty close to what that is out front.
No, we were just looking at the date of this construction, 1908. Take a look at this picture and take a look at the brick. The brick looks almost perfect yet.
It does, you're right, yes.
That's a long time.
Was it good?
Amazing.
I mean, the pointing job.
They did a good job back then.
Yeah, if they did. Well, unless it's maybe been repointed since then, but somebody did it right.
Yeah, that would be unusual.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's one that's not too far off.
Oh, yeah,
We could do the same thing and require
exterior.
reselection from the exterior palette.
With the floor and, well, it's hard to say. I mean, if they have to rebuild the wall, we don't want to make. have
And is that
paint
floor a stone floor or is it,
It looks like it.
because it
Pavers. almost
it really is odd that it would be painted because if they're trying to get the stone on the cap piece to look more like stone,
I don't
than
think it is painted.
leaving the floor as a,
Concrete.
well, it might be cleaned in some way, but it a more
I
natural
don't know
color
whether
would
it's
be.
painted currently or not, do you? When I was out there,
It's so dirty, it's hard to get
yeah,
out.
and I was scared.
Yeah, well, maybe it's not
Which
that blue
one?
color too, so
Yeah.
maybe
So
they
I
previously
didn't,
painted it off.
Venture on to the
Somebody
porch.
really had a good time.
I just walked
Somebody had
around.
to be colorblind to paint it.
Yeah.
Literally.
I don't know, maybe this was done in the
Well,
60s or something.
Okay,
Second, I
that's-
like,
I think you're right on that.
Deb's color is better here. They did.
Yeah.
This all came off from the walking.
uh,
Just this is painted the blue in front.
yeah.
And it looks like that's not painted at all.
Who the player was.
Yeah,
Which
That's
is
the house,
kind
if
of
it's
funny.
on Pine Street, I guess.
okay. So did you have any more you wanted to say about?
My guess at the time that this was built, that stone was white or
Oh, in front, or just concrete color?
It kind of has that appearance over here. It just
Yeah.
looks dirty.
Okay, everyone had a chance to look over what Dick is recommending here?
Could you read it aloud again?
You want to read it?
As soon as I find the right one.
Oh.
Got papers all over here. Okay, so recommending approval of rebuilding of the existing brick block porch with materials to match the existing, with the condition the new materials not be painted. Alternatively, approval of repair if possible with painting block recommended for approval only as a last resort. I don't think it's possible, but I'm not a mason. And then if that were the case, approve repointing with mortar mix, color, texture, size, and style of joint to match what's there.
And then is there a recommendation too about all the colors?
That's what she, up above, well, you didn't hear all that.
Yeah, the colors are not from the historic color palette, so I
Yeah,
recommend that they are from the historic color palette.
The exterior,
Yes, she's got it right.
Color palette, yes.
Okay.
Okay,
Unless they're really married to this dark blue. There is no dark blue that color, but I feel there's some that are dark enough that they should be happy with that.
Yes, the door, actually a nice wood door.
if she comes crying to you, have her talk to me.
Well, I need to, yeah, I need to talk to her tomorrow, so.
Okay, any other questions about that? No, we have a motion.
Do we have the option to make a motion to say they have to rebuild it, the first half, they have to rebuild it and
Yeah,
not paint
you
it?
can do that.
Okay.
And I mean, that would be my first choice. That they-
Okay, I will make that motion.
Okay, now Greg is making a motion that rebuilding of everything now that's painted, not be painted.
Well, is that,
Well,
we
they
have
made
to
a,
completely replace the entire porch?
No, it just
Or-
means removal of the paint, I mean, if it's, I don't know,
I don't know how they,
whatever means
All
of
the blocks that
removal.
need to come off, yeah, I don't know what all is gonna need to be done.
we're not sure that can be done. If they're painted,
I'm not
you would
sure.
have to, sandblasting is probably not allowed anymore, but this, some
Right.
process
Right.
of that sort that would not damage the block.
Right.
yeah,
That would,
something
but that's
you can-
probably a far more expensive process too than just repainting the whole thing.
But I think they could find something, to be honest. I mean, if you called a brick or block place like Old Ford or some of those in South Bend, they make products that will take paint off. Spray paint, I'm not sure. I've never dealt with spray paint, so I don't know how well that adheres, if that's different than normal paint. It certainly didn't look like it was flaking off
You
anywhere.
know what takes it off good?
What's that?
Walnut shells.
Walnut shells?
What's spraying walnut shells at the wall?
Okay,
just hit
yes.
Under pressure.
Under, yes. I've
And
never-
it doesn't destroy the surface of the brick
no.
or block?
So Roger's going to go out and pick walnuts this fall.
I've got a lot of them in the, right across from my house. There's a
There you
bunch
go,
of walnut
Roger.
trees. I'd love to give them to you.
That motion's getting out of hand.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have a motion that we are recommending that if the brick needs to be replaced, it's not painted. And do we have a second to that?
I would second that, yes.
Okay, all in favor of that motion? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Okay, so that carries. The other things will be as it's been recommended, going to the Sherwin-Williams exterior paint palette. And I know Sue about the fixing the side and so on, and maybe when she gets out there and sees it, she'll also recommend that that might have to be taken down.
She would.
And if she does, then,
And that's her problem.
yeah,
Not ours.
Yes,
right,
exactly.
But then are we also recommending that if they do decide to maintain the block at the front, that we would recommend they remove the paint rather than repaint?
I don't
Is
see
that
how
what
we
you
could
were
do that.
saying, is that what you were
I think we
saying?
can ask them to at least try that and see, you know, if it's something that's gonna cost ridiculous amount of money, then
Right.
that's crazy. Then they need to paint it some color that will make it look as good as possible, but
Well,
it may not.
and didn't she have that like color that?
She did.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it may, I don't know, I've never priced anything quite like that, so, but I think it should be explored.
So it
If
would
they were
be,
here, I would have that discussion with them, so it would be
so it'd be this lighter color.
something similar to that.
Okay, a bit more dignity to it.
Yes.
Yeah,
And is that gonna be the color of the trim on the house?
they didn't talk about trim on the
Yeah,
house.
we didn't talk about
Cause it's pretty much white.
The only thing they talked about on the house was the door.
It's all blocks. You may not have a finish on it. You know, they're-
All right. Is everybody then in agreement with the C of A recommendations that?
Yes, it's complicated, but yeah, yes, we are.
Okay. All right.
Kyle has to
Any
write
other
this letter.
questions? Kyle, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Okay.
My job.
I know, you don't have to like it. but I get it. Okay, we'll move along to committee reports. And Larry was gonna report, but he had to go out of town, so we'll have that next month then. Did everyone have a chance to look over the literature that Deb sent us on different towns that, for their grants that they are doing? And did anyone choose one they liked better than another?
That was a while ago.
Some of them were way, we could never afford
Yeah.
any of those things. When I looked through them, I thought the Fort Lauderdale one was closer to us as to some of the things that we're already talking about, because trying to keep it reasonable, which hopefully we can get the grant, I thought they were a little bit, did you too? Oh, good.
Yeah.
I was thinking, kind of crazy.
No, you're thinking.
But I just thought that was good, and then Kyle was kind enough to find out that December 16th in 1987 is when our mayor, Cliff Arnold, approved the Historic Preservation Committee. So we've been around a while.
Was that bad again?
87?
86, yeah, December of 1987. So, so that's good. We thank Kyle for that. And then also she had gave us the McCaw Historic Preservation Plan update, which I thought was interesting too. So I guess what we need to do, and that was something that Larry was gonna try to do too, is try to get a plan in place that we could kind of all look at, go over, and then decide if that's gonna be our plan to go forward. If anyone else would like to work on that with Larry, he'd be happy, I'm sure.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind doing that. I was just unable to get into it this last month, and I am freed up now, so I
Okay.
can. So
You
I
finally
would like to get into it.
ready to relax a little bit?
Yes, I think so.
Good. Okay, I will let him know that. Does anybody have any input on any of? Did everybody have a chance to look over this? All right. Should we maybe mail these two back out
Yeah, I can do that.
so people can look at them?
Was that the email that you sent to us? Was it in there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
I've still got that. I've still got that.
Not long after the last
Yeah.
right, it was not long after.
It seems
Yeah.
like eons
It's buried,
ago,
but it's
There were
there.
like about 4 or 5 of these,
Yeah.
but some of them were like, oh,
Yeah, there's all
it's never
kinds.
gonna happen here. But yeah, if we could, everyone could look over that and then add, or if you've got things that you think should be added, I think we need to do that then. And then, because this is when they're asking for consultants to say if they will come in and tell us what they think or not. Which I thought was good too, and thanks to Deb for that. Any other questions on that then? and I will give him your name, and who may call some of you others, I don't know, but he was willing to do that anyway. Okay. And the other is an update on getting the word out about the board, and as this lady told Amy, and she didn't even know that there were guidelines, so again, that goes back to the real estate agents that aren't telling people that, and I just think that should be a part when they sell property in the.
Now, this is a big, sarcastic remark, but to me, there's a lot of truth in it. Instead of seeing a good quarter for the front page of the newspaper advertising our gay pride parade, have an article on what we're doing here.
Be more worthwhile.
What I have a hard time with is LaPorte's stuff is always on top.
What?
Look, anything happening in LaPorte is the headline. Very rarely do you see what's happening.
But look at the cities, the comparison, what they're doing. LaPorte is so far in front of us.
I agree. Well, what might be helpful, because you have to get a journalist interested in it, and I don't know if you guys know anyone to try and do it. If there was a project that was exemplary, and this house we just looked at, it could be, and there probably are some others. Maybe that one that is across the street where nobody's moved in yet, but it was very nicely modified.
The one on Cedar and
It's on 8th Street.
Right on the
Yeah.
corner.
It's right on the corner
Yeah.
over here.
where they found
Right
the
here.
second floor
Right behind us.
porch as they were working on it.
Oh, I didn't know about that, but
Yeah.
it has the beautiful stained glass window, and they've just done such a nice job on it. Maybe getting some kind of articles like that would talk about some of the great projects that have been done, or other efforts that people have made, and then because it's an historic district, and if we could get someone interested, maybe we'd have to look at who the people are that are doing any of the articles in that paper, and just see whether or not we could point them to things that might be very interesting to them.
There is no News Dispatch office in Michigan City anymore. It's completely LaPorte. The editor is LaPorte. 2 of their main writers are LaPorte residents.
But they do include articles about Michigan City, right?
Once in a while.
Does anybody who lives in the historic district get the paper?
Yeah.
Dwayne?
Yeah.
But then again, your house is an exemption to what we're talking about.
Well, it would help though, I think if we went to them with a story to let them know that we do exist and we would appreciate, and if you do it nicely, I think we could get them to get us at the top of the paper for a change.
Yeah, sometimes when you want something to happen, you have to feed them all the information.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's what we
Where
have
the
to have
shooting
from-
was at, I don't know if you saw it on
Right
your,
behind there.
if you saw it on your Facebook or on your phones. The house on the corner is where the shooting happened. The lady next door has just renovated that house for an Airbnb. She was in her upstairs living room when she heard the racket, and she took the pictures from the upstairs window. So she's terrified now to think she's advertising this Airbnb. Is she going to get anybody because of what happened on the corner? And I feel sorry for her. I don't know what she can do about it. Just hope it doesn't ever happen again. But it was a sad thing. And I'm shocked that it wasn't right up at the top on the newspaper.
Can we get a count of how many houses, stores are in the historic districts?
You wanna know how many houses?
Yeah.
How many people are affected by the, going back to live in it, they should know about it, right?
Well, I bet you, like we said before, probably half of them don't.
Well, they don't.
And they've probably lived in the district all their life. Just like Jan Smits that owns the house on Cedar and 8, the bed and breakfast. And then when her husband got cancer and died, she sold it. She knew what you could and couldn't do. The people that bought it, even though she told them, acted like they didn't know. And got them, well, Dwayne knows, got in a little bit of trouble on that. But it's, I guess, what you want to know and what you should know. But it's a sad thing. When you have good people trying to do good things with their homes and keep up around them, and then you get people that don't really care.
Is there any way you could, you know, like in Palm Beach and in maybe Potawatomi Park, there's a sign that says all contractors must register with, you know, with someone. I mean, is there a way that, you know, if you live in a historical district, all historical district residents must, whatever, you know, go before someone, so-and-so, before they, you know, any building occurs, or,
It's
I don't
supposed to
know.
happen in all of Michigan City, not
Yeah,
just the
true, that's true.
Also,
But-
every contractor is supposed to have writing on their vehicles. You tell me why, I can tell you where I know of 7 of them, that have
Don't
nothing.
do it.
And they work every day
Wow.
because they don't have enough staff
To keep anything enforced. Oh, I
I
know.
mean, anything that comes across, anything I review, I always look at in terms of the history, you know, to determine where
Right.
it is, as well as with having, you know, the map on Beacon, I can plug in an address and it, you know, pops up. So, I mean, anything that, you know, affects the outside that, you know, is under my jurisdiction of the planning department, I pretty much always give them a COA.
Right. But they don't, there's a lot of them that don't know maybe.
A lot of people don't even,
City
a lot of
Hall,
people don't even
a
pull
COA
permits.
is, yeah, they
A lot of people don't even pull
Oh,
permits, so
because they don't know
like,
what the hell they are, you know, they just.
And I think the interesting thing is how many people living in this area own the house. I bet probably maybe not even half.
Wow.
that would actually be correct,
Would
it's
it be?
about 50%
Okay,
rental
rentals.
for
And that
us.
makes it hard.
Yeah, that
Really
makes it
hard.
very hard.
I heard somebody saying yesterday that that's common throughout Michigan City. There's not a lot of home ownership.
Correct.
It's getting better, but
I hope so.
not necessarily in this district,
Yeah.
so, yeah.
Needs to be incentives, but that's not our.
Yeah, that's not our day. We don't do that here.
No.
At one point we talked about mailers, but that's kind of the same problem of like, that's just gonna go to the person that lives there.
Right,
Not the person that
not
owns
the
it.
owner.
See, and that's how we
Necessarily.
have
Go to
to,
the owner.
that's how, is there a way we could get the
You can get
name?
a printout from Beacon and that reveals the owners,
Right.
not the residents.
Right, that is
Okay.
all in Beacon.
So can we do that?
I'm sure there'd
It can
be a
be
way.
done.
It's
That would be
Yeah.
a very long process of coming
Yeah,
up
it's
with
hard,
those
but you can,
addresses.
they can get done.
You'd have to type
I
it
mean,
in.
each address.
Well, they'll print up a list automatically of all the houses within the area there.
Mhm.
In fact, we did it, well, it might have been the plan commission, but a couple of years ago, we did all around the hospital, where we had to do some rezoning around there. So we had pages and pages of residents there, Skylar contacted, so you can find a way to do that.
Yeah, you just you go into Beacon and you just create a buffer. And it will then, shoot out everything in that buffer.
Can you do that, or should one of us do that?
I mean, if you'd like, I can provide you with that list.
You probably know more about it.
That's what I was just gonna say.
The goal of that being to send out a mailer.
I was just gonna say, so then we need to create some sort of content that
Something
would, you
simple
know,
to the
something to
point,
put
yeah.
on paper that would go to each resident saying, did you know? You know, like a
Got letters.
common
I got
questions.
sample letters
Yeah,
like that. I just got done sending one, I created one for LaPorte. Because LaPorte has a big problem too with this. And so we found somebody that had just moved in, bought a beautiful house, and Window World was in their driveway before
Oh.
they even got moved in. So immediately, they got our very first letter in LaPorte, you know, like, hey, welcome, congratulations on buying a historic property. And by the way,
Yeah,
did you
that's
know?
a great way to
you know.
To the home buyers.
And it went
as well.
directly.
Congratulations, guess what?
Yeah.
You're in a historical district now.
So, trying to be nice, but still put that info out there, and it contained all sorts of info, so like city website for Historic Preservation Commission, where do you find a COA application, where are the guidelines, who are the people you need to call if you've got questions,
Could you
that kind of
package
stuff.
some?
So I could send those, I could send that particular one, and then I got some other
Okay.
sample ones.
Yeah, that's very good.
So,
Yeah, I think that's what we need to do.
A letter would be easier, you're right.
yeah, it would be.
Yeah, because we wouldn't have to pay for somebody to print.
Because there's some commissions, their staff will keep an eye on this. You don't have time for it, I don't either. But some will keep an eye on properties changing hands and they'll send them out directly. Some people just send a mass mailing once a year, just to everybody. And, you know, if you've seen it before, well, you've seen it again. But a lot of properties change hands, so that's,
I just went with the EDDM by the post office, every door direct mail. They have a whole route, so it's a real cheap way to do it. It's not addressed to particular, but that just goes to the properties and not the owners.
Just goes to occupant.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'd want to do it to the property
Go a
owner.
little further.
Yeah, that's the tricky part, is finding the money to mail it. But,
Yes.
Well, now's the time to do it before election. We might get more done. If you suck up a little bit.
Yes.
I could tell a story, but I won't.
I'll send you the letters.
Okay.
We figure out a letter, then we'll figure out how to send it.
Yeah.
So,
Or we might have road trips.
there you go.
Chicago.
A walking
Just all
tour.
take turns, take a section,
Sure, we could do that.
except the owners aren't all,
No,
properties
no.
are, so there's that. There might be a long road trip, so, for some of them.
Any other questions or things that we need to ask of before? Or Kyle? Kyle, do you find where you live, more people moving in, where you live, does the owner in the building or no?
No, they're in LaPorte. It's an LLC.
I have a question. Property, 436 East 8th Street. Doing some painting. Is it public knowledge to know if a permit is has been given?
436, is that Derek's?
Yes. They are painting that house. Well, they're not painting.
They were blowing it off or something.
Yes, I'm almost positive that it's asbestos. I
Yes.
talked to Sue.
Oh, that's the
That's what I
one
was
you
just gonna
emailed
say.
me about.
Yes, I
Oh, I'm
talked to
certain
Sue.
that's.
Sue
That's
says
asbestos,
from the
yeah.
time frame, it might not be, and it costs too much money for them to try to figure out if it is. And I'm saying, okay, what about us that live right there? If that stuff is being blown off and we're getting the fumes from it and whatever else comes with asbestos, that's not something that we should be throwing a money thing on.
Wouldn't that go back to his insurance company? Because he told me the insurance company is doing all that, paying for all that to be done.
But even that, the insurance company has to have had a permit, right?
They should have.
Well, there's been nothing pulled on that.
Okay, see, and that's what I'm getting at, is if we're not,
How do we enforce?
yes, how do we enforce this?
After that.
Especially when I went and, well, I didn't go, I talked over the phone about it, and Sue was adamant that it might not be asbestos, and for them to find out, it costs too much money, so.
That's
I
not
mean,
right.
nothing has gone in front of you guys in terms of the historic preservation.
No,
So
not
as
that I
far as-
know of. Has anything gone
No.
at 436?
No.
No,
Yeah.
because
So,
Derek called me before.
Enforcement team that goes out, or is it Deb? You gotta do it? You two gotta go out and say,
Yeah.
hey,
pretty much, yeah.
really?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't inspectional services go
Yeah.
out?
They
Does
do,
work-
but there's 3 of them for 30,000 people.
But
So
if there's potentially something dangerous going on.
Right.
Well, mine must not have been dangerous enough.
Well, because he was concerned
yeah,
he called us because they needed the heat back on, so
Okay.
that they could paint the interior,
Yeah.
the insurance company. And he said when they were done and it got nicer, they were gonna start working on the outside. But he said the insurance company was gonna get all the permits and do all the he said, so my hands are tied, it's all up to them. Well, if they haven't done that, then that's a pretty big violation. I don't know who the insurance company
The
is.
people that were out there in the van spraying it off,
No.
I don't even, correct, I don't even know if they're licensed to even do anything close to this.
They're probably not then if they didn't go get
I know when I had to get asbestos removed, it had to be packaged, everything had to be
yes.
done. I spent a lot of money
Oh, yeah.
to remove it from the garage at the church. So,
Are they cleaning it or removing it?
There's a fire and they are trying to take it off.
Oh, they're taking it
But they
off.
were power washing.
they were power
You
washing.
should never, ever power wash
Well,
asbestos
again,
siding. Like,
this is what I passed on to our city, that this is what's happening. And I don't know if anything has been, I'm sure nothing's been done because she said it costs too much, so.
Because that pressure on that asbestos siding,
crack it.
you know,
And they tend
blow
to
little
dust.
pieces out into the air. So you got that in the air, you've got that water going down on the ground and running around. I mean,
It's terrible.
So
That
that's
should
something that
not
should go
happen.
to the mayor's office?
I think it should go somewhere, but I'm not the one that knows, so that's why I'm
This is
bringing
the
it
first
here.
time I've heard of this.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
well, that's what's happening.
Yeah.
And it's like
Yeah.
2 doors down from me, so I don't wanna get caught in
that siding, I would
Well,
just bet
it's
anyway.
probably
I don't
best
think
that you
it's
stay out of
asbestos.
Absolutely, of course it is.
But we did a sample of an asbestos shingle about 2 years ago to be certain, and that was about $150. Now, it may have
For
gone
one
up a
shingle.
little, but still, that tells you what you need to know. I don't feel like $150 is too expensive.
If it's double, it's 300.
It's still not very
so,
much
yeah,
though,
no.
you know, in the scope of things, compared to having
To do things the
asbestos
right way.
flying around.
Compared to my medical bill to go,
Yeah,
that take care of
exactly.
if I get.
You can't do anything for $300 at the hospital or doctor.
Well, you could
So,
walk in
yeah.
the front door, that would be it.
So,
I'll call Sue and then I'll call my buddy.
yeah, that needs to be stopped.
Yeah, that's not right. And just because of what I was told 6 months ago, that the insurance company was handling, it doesn't sound like they are.
6 months ago.
One,
No, obviously,
And this
Kyle
was,
hasn't heard anything.
as a guess, this was maybe at the
capital
maximum
letters,
ago.
all the
Well,
inspections
because they needed the
for
heat
all the
on,
trades.
because
That is ridiculous.
they shut everything off and they had to move out. I don't know where they moved, they're living in Chicago, I think, at their son's or someplace. That's all I know, and I have not heard from them since then, so, but I'll find out.
Thank you.
And then I'll let everyone know. And if I go to jail,
We're all going with
Visit
you.
you.
thank you.
I'll set the bail money aside.
Or I'll go with you.
Put that in writing.
Make you a cake.
She's gonna make me a cake with a file.
Inside.
This is exciting.
That's better than the scissors.
That's
That's
You haven't heard about that, I think. But, okay. It might have been in, someone told me it was in the paper. Someone tried to sneak scissors into the prison,
No.
and that's where I'm gonna stop with that.
Okay.
Well, we won't say where the scissors were.
Thank you. That's why we're stopping with that.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay.
They were, you wouldn't want to sit down.
Oh my God, oh my God. But it couldn't have been very long.
It doesn't matter.
Probably 2 inches. I'm
Okay.
pretty sure we should
Can
have.
we have a motion to adjourn?
Move that we adjourn.
I think we are adjourned. Thank you very much.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Who said it?